From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
With this extended heat wave, how are people trying to stay cool? We're going to talk to some locals who are finding ways to beat the heat.
President Biden prepares to address the nation on his decision to leave the 2024 race. I'm Jared Hill with the major shift in the contest for the White House as Vice President Harris's campaign against former President Trump takes shape.
MTN's Megan Elaine here, checking out a new spot that foodies and families will love.
Alrighty, it is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Jane McDonald and Matt Elwell with you. I gotta say, Matt, one of the better outlooks over near the mining city, not nearly as much of that haze and smoke that we've
The
been
haze
seeing.
is not as apparent. Now, air quality is right now in the good category for Butte, but I expect that we're going to be bouncing around between good, moderate, and possibly unhealthy for sensitive groups over the next couple of days, just because our fire danger is quite high. So low humidity, the potential, some wind, and that all kind of plays a part in that. Early morning temperatures a little warmer for Bozeman at this point, 62, 57 in Belgrade, 54 in Butte. It's not a bad morning by any stretch, but it is going to warm up in a hurry. Isolated dry thunderstorms possible this afternoon and evening. A lot of those stronger storms are going to be more west of the divide as you head into the evening. Overall, pretty quiet conditions for the morning. Wind speeds may pick up as you see a few of those isolated dry thunderstorms firing off. I'm going to talk more about dry thunderstorms and those impacts for the next couple of days, plus a big cool down. That's all coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, according to the Montana Highway Patrol, a suspect in conjunction with an attempted homicide in Utah was arrested on Huffine Lane near Four Corners in Bozeman on Tuesday. MHP said in a release that dispatch received a be on the lookout report from Idaho at approximately 10:30 in the morning. According to that release, the report was for a possibly armed suspect wanted in conjunction with an attempted homicide in Summit County, Utah. At around 11:15 in the morning, troopers reportedly located the vehicle on Highway 191 outside of Four Corners. The driver initially pulled over on Huffine Lane when troopers attempted to stop the vehicle and then fled at a high rate of speed toward Bozeman. During the pursuit that followed, troopers were able to successfully perform a pit maneuver, causing the suspect vehicle to stop, ending the pursuit. The release said the suspect was taken into custody without incident and is currently being held over at the Gallatin County Detention Center. And several firefighting agencies put out more than a dozen small fires sparked by a train east of Deer Lodge yesterday evening. Fire crews quickly put out about 18 small fires along a 2-mile stretch of frontage road between Deer Lodge and Galen that were caused by sparks coming from an engine off of an eastbound train. Emergency responders were notified by a 911 call just before 5 o'clock of several fires burning along the tracks off of the eastbound lane of Interstate 90.
We were fairly fortunate. One of our Deer Lodge Fire Department members has direct communication with the train. He was able to place a call and get this train slowed down. One of my deputies actually stopped the train at Galen.
Firefighters were on the scene for more than an hour putting out the fires, and no injuries were reported or structures damaged. And another scorching afternoon of temperatures are in store for us today. MTN's Heaven Van caught up with some people trying to beat the heat.
As temperatures in Bozeman are expected to remain near the 90s for the rest of the week, we're checking with visitors and residents on how they're keeping cool.
I prefer it to be in the 80s, but, the 90s are still fine for us Arizonans.
Walking down the streets of downtown Bozeman, I chatted with a few people who say they found the best spot to beat the heat.
Bozeman Beach down 7th Rouse, kind of down there is pretty fun spot. Or up into Highlight Reservoir, stuff like that.
We go to Shine, Beer Sanctuary to stay cool. And today we actually did sit inside because it was a little bit warm. But, we might go to the local Bogart swimming pool, stay a little cooler, or up to Highlight Reservoir.
Some say they've tried to avoid the searing sun altogether.
We are, we didn't do anything crazy activities, being out. We're going to go grab lunch and then we're going to hit the road.
Others are curbing their thirst by taking advantage of the many food and drink destinations in Bozeman.
You know those Luigi's Cup of Ice, the Italian ice from the grocery store? That's my go-to.
The heat is obnoxious. That's why I'm eating ice cream.
Yeah, hydrate and maybe stop in and have a local beer. And then hydrate again with water.
I'd say Sweet Peaks downtown was a great spot, great ice cream, Montana made. So.
In Bozeman, Heaven Van, MTN News.
Now on the national scene, the race for the White House continues to take shape this morning, with Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump sharpening their attacks against one another. Yesterday, Trump said he'd be willing to debate Harris more than once, but first, she must become her party's official nominee. Later today, President Biden will explain to the American people why he ended his campaign and endorsed Harris. CBS News' Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
Back in Washington, Joe Biden is entering a new phase of his presidency. Tonight, set to address the nation about his decision to exit the 2024 race.
He wants to talk directly to all of you, to the American people, to talk about what's next.
It comes a day after Vice President Kamala Harris held her first rally as a 2024 presidential candidate, packing out a gym in a key swing state.
We have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
In a suburb of Milwaukee, where just last week, former President Donald Trump accepted the GOP nomination, Harris pledged to take him on.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
Harris's momentum fueled by an influx of cash and major endorsements, including the top Democrats in Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
We're going to hold the Senate, we're going to win the House, we're going to elect Kamala Harris as our next president in November.
Yesterday, Trump appeared to sharpen his barbs against his new likely opponent, Harris.
She's far more radical than he is. She wants open borders. She wants things that nobody wants.
That line of attack echoed by Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
The Biden record is the Kamala Harris record.
Trump will rally in North Carolina later today, while Harris is set to address the historically black sororities convention in Indianapolis. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And the Trump campaign has filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission, claiming that the transfer of over $91 million from the Biden to the Harris campaign is a campaign finance violation. The former president and his running mate will hold their second joint rally this weekend over in Minnesota. And tomorrow, Vice President Harris will address the American Federation of Teachers, one of several labor organizations to endorse her this week. Now, a little bit closer to home, just a sign of how hot and dry it's getting out there this week. Gallatin Gateway and Highlight fire crews were on the scene of a brush fire in Four Corners Tuesday afternoon. The fire broke out in the southwest corner of Jackrabbit and Norris Road. The fire broke out in an open field, and crews were doing spot work when our crews arrived on scene. Folks who work near the area said they were worried that the fire could spread more if it crossed Jackrabbit.
We just looked outside and saw smoke, and it started going up faster than we thought. So my boss actually came back with rakes and shovels, and he told us to get out there and go smolder the little fires and try to do what we could to help from it getting this way and crossing the road and coming over to the lumber yard.
The cause of the fire is still unknown. And fire crews are getting more control over the Blacktail Canyon fire burning near Butte, but they're not out of the woods yet. The fire, which started last Friday, is roughly 80 acres, and a crew of about 180 continue to find and secure outspots around the fire line. Officials report the dry weather conditions and large volume of fuel heat increases the chance of wildfire flaring up again. The evacuation warning is still in place for residents in the area of Blacktail Canyon Road and Passmore Canyon Road. And crews fighting the wildfire near Butte got a taste of a Butte treat, the pasty. Longtime Butte eatery Trezzolino, Tamales on Tuesday made about 120 pasties as a special order for the crews fighting the Blacktail Canyon fire in the mountains of southeast of Butte. Many of the firefighters are from out of state, and likely this will be the first time they've ever eaten a pasty.
First pasty ever, yep. Up in the mountains where it should be eaten at, right? Yeah, it's right. Pretty cool. It's a good order. It's good that they're buying local food. I think they'll love them. Pasties and ketchup, delivered by helicopter. That's a pretty cool deal.
The crew has been fighting the 76-acre fire since last Friday, and the pasties were delivered to them by helicopter. And a new food truck court has popped up over in Bozeman on the west side of Babcock Street. Our Megan Elaine takes a look at why this is more than just a food truck parking spot.
Right behind me is a food truck that's at Bozeman's newest food truck court that opened last month. Owner of La Única Papusaria says the decision to park his food truck in the court was an easy one.
It looks like a great idea for us, and when we came here and saw the place and how hard they were working, we definitely said yes, we want to be part of it.
Co-owner of Bozeman's food truck park felt West Babcock Street was the perfect location.
When we went and talked to developers, one of the things they said is kind of the best use case for this space in Bozeman is a new big apartment complex. And we're like, we're not really excited about doing that. Let's do something that's more an amenity that will draw people to this area of town. And so what we ended up with was a really cool, family-friendly food truck park.
As the summer heat keeps ramping up, Christian says he takes weather into consideration.
Weather in general is going to be one of the big challenges, so we're looking at using a building that we have on site to actually provide indoor seating, which will be a neat thing for Bozeman, and hopefully give these food truck vendors who struggle during the winter an option to extend their season a little bit.
Christian has deemed the area from the corner of 19th and Babcock to Feed Cafe as the new Northern Lights district.
I think the first phase is really just getting the right food trucks here on site, whether they're permanent or we will have some spaces that are kind of rotating.
Emer's food truck is here to stay. He says the best thing on his menu is
pupusas.
A thick griddle cake from El Salvador.
Bozeman people are happy to have pupusas now.
The new food truck park is working to get the word out there. In the meantime, they have a block party in August. In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Well, and I'm glad to see some of those covers over some of those benches out there.
Yeah, get a little shade, but a little fresh food. I like it.
I think it's really cool.
We're in.
Now, before we get into a break, speaking about kind of cooling off, we're going to head over to a lake. But, well, this lake is in central Chile. Now, let's see if you can hear it. Because
is that the ice that is cracking there?
Exactly. I mean, some people are calling this the singing lake. A lot of people say that the sounds really sound like they're coming from outer space. It's really amazing, but you're exactly right, Matt. It's caused by the movement or the cracking of thin ice layers over on that lake.
Pretty amazing stuff. And if you think about it, the Earth's surface kind of works the same way. It's always moving and shifting. We just don't hear it.
No, exactly. We can't see the tectonic plates, but we just know they're doing their thing. It's a pretty amazing phenomenon. Now, time for a quick break here in Montana this morning, but when we come back, well, a nationwide shortage of wildland fires during a dry and hot time across the country. Well, we're going to explain when we come back how this crisis evolved and ways to fix it.